أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We start with the Usul al Munifah al-Imam Abi Hanifah, first lesson inshallah. This book is basically a collation or a gathering of Imam Abi Hanifah treatises in Aqidah. I'm gonna explain or tell you what are these exactly now, by a great Imam called Imam al-Bayadi al-Hanafi. Imam al-Bayadi is very famous Imam. He had like other very, very important books as well in Aqidah and other topics. One of which is actually also Isharat al-Maram, which is the same but like more elaborative. So Usul al Munifah al-Imam Abi Hanifah is like a smaller and maybe introductory, not introductory, you can explain it in different ways, but just more brief to be like the other books. So basically, yeah, let's read the muqaddimah of, so we're just giving a muqaddimah, explaining what are these. Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin manba'i anwar al-shari'ah al-rabbaniyah, the source of the lights of al-shari'ah al-rabbaniyah, wa manar sabil a'immat al-ummah al-hadiyah al-mahdiyah. And be careful, like, see here, manba' anwar al-shari'ah. Nabi alayhi salam is a source of light to everything that is lit in our life. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. ومنار سبيل أئمة الأمة الهادية المهدية وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سلاما لا ينقطع دائما دوام الاهتداء بأئمة الدين من مذهب السادات الحنفية وكل مذهب من المذاهب الأربعة القوية. So, and be careful, like also note here that the Sheikh is basically specifically starting with making dua to A'immat al-Sada al-Hanafiya al-Ahnaf, because this book is book Hanafi and he is Hanafi, but at the same time there is no intolerance. He's also extending that to all the madahib al-arba'a, all the four madhabs. This book takes from fiqh al-akbar, al-basit, al-wasiyya, and his risala, correct? Yes, that's correct. So the Sheikh is saying فهذا كتاب الأصول المنيفة للإمام أبي حنيفة برواية الإمام كمال الدين أحمد بن القاضي حسام الدين البياضي الحنفي، وقد احتوى الكتاب على صغر حجمه على ما لا يوزن بالجبال من الذهب والفضة ولا يعادله شيء من أعراض الدنيا الفانية. The Sheikh is saying this book, which is called al-Usul al Munifah للإمام أبي حنيفة, is a narration of the Imam Kamal al-Din Ahmad ibn al-Qadi Husam al-Din al-Bayadi al-Hanafi, very famous Qadi and like very famous Imam. Probably we should maybe next time we could talk more about his bio and so on. And that book has, although it's like have a short pages or a little amount of pages, of not big, but it included ما لا يوزن بالجبال من الذهب والفضة. Like the amount of it included more that you can measure by gold and fidda, like mountains of gold and silver. Okay, so basically, like, it's very, very precious, basically. ولا يعادله شيء من أعراض الدنيا الفانية. And this book is basically everything in this entire dunya can't even come close to its importance. فقد اشتمل على عصارة وخلاصة مسائل الأصول الاعتقادية للإمام أبي حنيفة النعمان رضي الله عنه. So this book included like the summary and the everything that's basically that came to us in اعتقاد in العقيدة, that is عقيدة الإمام أبي حنيفة, which is basically عقيدة السلف at the time. And included أقواله العظيمة في كل باب من أبوابها. It included a lot of his saying and so on. مفندا بعض أقوال أهل الابتداع, so basically rebutting بدعة كالمرجئة والقدرية, ومفحما لهم بالدليل القاطع الناصع, giving the evidence of rebuttal and refuting their arguments. And this is the important part. وقد جمعت من كتبه الوصية، الفقه الأكبر، الفقه الأبسط، العالمي والمتعلم، والرسالة، كما ذكر الإمام البياضي رضي الله عنه في مقدمته. So basically Imam al-Bayadi explained that. So basically Imam Abu Hanifa had Of course, he had a lot of other things, but what reached us through tawatur, most of that was through tawatur, and if not tawatur, through asanid sahiha, complete isnad and proper isnad. He either wrote as a risala, as a khitab, as a something like writing something to be sent to others. Somebody asks him something, and basically he replies to him through writing, or dictating to his students and write it for him. And those written literature from Imam Abi Hanifah are mainly those 5 books. They are not like books, very big books. They are very, very small, like treatises, like, rasail, basically. One called al-Wasiyya, and one called al-Fiqh al-Akbar, one called al-Fiqh al-Absat, the other one called al-Alim wal-Muta'allim, and al-Risala. These are the 5 main, or the 5 books. What did the Imam al-Bayadi did? Imam al-Bayadi went through all those, and because those like small books or booklets were written to address certain issues at the time, they weren't meant to be comprehensive in everything that related to the chapters of Aqidah. And therefore, one book will be addressing certain issue depending on the question that the Imam is answering, or the purpose why the Imam is dictating this book, for example. So there's going to be overlaps, and some books will include other like issues or matters, or addressing issues or matters that are not in others. So Imam al-Bayadi went to all those and compiled everything that's related to each other and put them in an order that we now study the Aqidah. Okay? So maybe he took like paragraphs from the end and put it in the start, and so on, without affecting the context or affecting other things, just taking the complete coherent paragraph or complete coherent thing and basically mapping it to where it should be. It should belong with the other books of Imam Abu Hanifah, and putting it in the order that like as a text addressing Aqidah issues. Okay? So that's basically that book. All right. And not to forget that these books reached us, as I said, through tawatur and through sahih isnad, with the manuscripts known and like completed and everything. Now, as a clear evidence of that is we have al-Imam al-Maturidi. In the year he died 333, right? Imam al-Maturidi also got those books and those treatises, and with also what he studied from his shuyukh, with isnad to Imam Abu Hanifah, and collated also the Aqidah, which is what we call now al-Aqidah al-Maturidiyya, right? It actually used to be called al-Hanafiyya, al-Aqidah Abu Hanifa, al-Aqidah al-Hanafiyya for a long time. But anyway, so this Aqidah al-Maturidiyya, which is also like in line with those treatises, was like collated and gathered and verified by Imam al-Maturidi in certain geographical area. He was Mawara al-Nahr, like the river of Sayhun, and I don't remember the name now in English, so I don't want to say it. But anyway, in certain geographical location. And we got Imam al-Tahawi, also was Hanafi, in Egypt, writing the Al-Aqidah al-Tahawiyya, thousands of miles away, right? Imam al-Tahawi also like more or less in the same period of time. And also he's writing it and saying, this is the Aqidah of Imam Abu Hanifa wa sahibayhi Ahl al-Sunnah, blah, 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 and so on. And everybody accept this Aqidah as Aqidah Ahl al-Sunnah. Even Wahhabis accept it, but they basically like play with the meanings in a weird way, as we talked about before. And both of those two, like Aqidah, is exactly the same in principles, in the main principles, and even in the secondary matters, they are the same. And also at the same time, Imam al-Ash'ari was in Baghdad, also writing Aqidah and collating Aqidah and making the Aqidah books, his Aqidah books. And it's also exactly the same. Also, it's not Abu Hanifa, but it's like principle-wise and foundations and everything, it's exactly the same. So that's basically a proof that all those aqaid are basically aqidat Ahl Sunnah wa aqidat al-Salaf, the true aqidah of the Salaf, because 3 different geographic locations, every Imam is claiming to be writing something that is aqidat al-Salaf that they inherited from their shuyukh and with a complete isnad, and then they didn't meet together to lie or to agree on anything, and the product is exactly the same. Right? So this, like, if this is not proved by itself, then what else is going to be proved? But anyway, so that's the first important note I wanted to point out. That the second point is al-Fiqh al-Akbar, the book of Fiqh al-Akbar specifically, as we said, those hashwaya and those like mujassima corporealists, through all their time, hundreds of years ago, they falsify and add and take out things from the manuscripts and so on until this day. And we talked about that in one of the courses, I think in the fiqh course, and I showed you specifically for the Fiqh al-Akbar a copy printed by like a publisher, like one of those publishers, and the publisher himself, the muhaqqiq himself, saying, I took out anything related blah blah blah. So they admit to be falsifying the Fiqh al-Akbar. So be careful that some copies distributed or around you might find in some libraries or bookstores, and saying the Fiqh al-Akbar, this is not exactly the right book that we got through isnad to the Imam Abu Hanifah. Okay, this is very important thing. So they omit whatever they want that doesn't that shows their aqidah is not proper. They add stuff, even in their explanation, they twist the meaning to give you a meaning as if that's what the Imam is saying, but it's not, and so on. All right. So anyway, the Sheikh here is saying that he took careful care of the manuscripts and so on, and how he basically collated them together, and so on. Rahimahullah, Muhammad Abdul Rahman al-Shaghul. These are some copies of the manuscript, and here we start with the muqaddimah of the Imam al-Bayadi himself. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah ala ifdalihi. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله. على إفضاله from the فضل favors. So alhamdulillah for his favors. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله. فهذا ما سئلت جمعه وترتيبه وتهذيبه. He was asked to collate and basically, as we said, taking those books together and consolidating them and reconciling them together. That's basically what he's saying. عن المكررات وتقريبه من الأصول المنيفة للإمام أبي حنيفة جمعتها من نصوص كتبه التي أملاها على أصحابه. So these are the texts of his books that he dictates to his students. الفقه الأكبر من الفقه الأكبر، الرسالة، الفقه الأبسط، كتاب العالم والمتعلم، والوصية. برواية who narrated that؟ رواية الإمام حماد بن أبي حنيفة. The son of Abi Hanifa narrated it. وأبي يوسف الأنصاري، وأبي مطيع الحكم بن عبد الله البلخي، وأبي مقاتل حفص بن مسلم السمرقندي. So it's basically narrated by his students, okay, with complete isnad. وألحقت بها 20 مسألة كلامية من رواية الأئمة، و40 حديثا اعتقاديا من مسانيده العلية، ورتبتها. So basically he also added for context other matters which we're gonna point out. ورتبتها على مقدمة و3 أبواب وخاتمة، وهي لجميع الأصول حاوية. Basically I order it to put it in order of an introduction and 3 chapters and like an end or summary or like recapping. وهي لجميع الأصول حاوية. All right. Then the Sheikh starts with like you're going to see his style. He will say قال في كتاب العالم والمتعلم. He said, meaning Imam Abu Hanifa. So Imam Abu Hanifa said in كتاب العالم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. Right. So he will take like introduction and basically pointing out, like referencing it, where he took it from, like a paragraph or anything, right? So He's saying Imam Abu Hanifah said in the book of al-Alim so and so and so. And then قال في الفقه الأبسط, and he said in الفقه الأبسط اعلم أن الفقه في الدين أفضل من الفقه في الأحكام والفقه في الأحكام والفقه معرفة النفس ما لها وما عليها. So he is basically giving like an advice that you need to learn fiqh, and you need to not learn fiqh, you need to be يعني fiqh basically means فهم, understanding. So you have to have an understanding in your deen. having understanding في الدين أفضل من الفقه في الأحكام. So your understanding in a deen, meaning usul al-din, means al-aqidah. So having a proper understanding in al-aqidah is better than having understanding in al-ahkam, which is what we call fiqh now. والفقه معرفة النفس ما لها وما عليها. الفقه, understanding, well, الفهم is basically knowing the nafs, your soul know what is for, like its rights and obligations. وما يتعلق منها بالاعتقاديات, and what it relates to or it needs to know in relation to عقيدة, which is وهو الفقه الأكبر. Okay, so that's why it's called الفقه الأكبر. The Imam basically calling the الفقه الأكبر is الفقه أو الفهم والعلم with the عقيدة matters. ولأن يتفقه الرجل كيف يعبد ربه خير له من أن يجمع العلم الكثير. And this is very important, which is something that we are missing now. People are like getting it's like a upside down pyramids. You know, it's weird. You try and gather a lot of ilm, but you don't really apply it yourself, and you don't pass it on, and you don't use that ilm, you don't work or take actions regarding that ilm. So what is the purpose of the ilm then? That's the ilm that you're going to be accountable for, and it's going to be against you, not for you. That's why Sheikh is saying وَلَأَنْ يَتَفَقَّهَ الرَّجُلُ, somebody who becomes understanding or obtain understanding and fiqh or ilm in relation to how to worship his Lord, better than compiling a lot of ilm, a lot of knowledge, right, without doing anything. So it's how to pray to Allah, how to not just praying, al-ibadah in its like wide concept. وقال في كتاب العالم. Now the Sheikh is saying, the Sheikh al-Biyadi, Imam al-Biyadi say قال مين أبو حنيفة في كتاب العالم والعمل تابع للعلم كما أن الأعضاء تتبع للبصر. العمل, taking actions, is or relates to علم and follows علم كما أن الأعضاء تتبع للبصر, like exactly as how your other, like all your organs or your body follows your vision. You look somewhere and you go there, for example. So basically الأعضاء, your body, your limbs and your hands or wherever follow where you are looking. So this is the way that ilm should be. So or amal should be. You should get ilm, which is the basar, the enlightenment. But then you need to take actions. You need to apply that ilm in your life, in how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how to be proper, upright Muslim, and so on and so forth. فالعلم مع العمل اليسير أنفع من العمل الكثير مع الجهل. So the Sheikh is saying, Imam Abu Hanifah is saying, so knowledge with a little action or little amal, little doing was what you learned, is better than doing a lot without knowledge. So it's basically both. You need to have knowledge because that's what enlightens, that's what makes your amal proper. But also you need to make amal. It's just not an empty vessel of without amal. Okay. ولذلك قال تعالى قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب. Surah al-Zumar. Do you think, or basically those who doesn't know and those who knows, they are not equal, right? So you can see how the Sheikh now, or the Imam al-Bayadi, is compiling and reconciling the Imam Abu Hanifa books. He will take part from al-Fiqh al-Absat, put it and see in an alim what relates to it and follow it with it and so on. So basically this is the entire book, the way the entire book has been written. Okay. وقال في الفقه الأبسط وأفضل الفقه أن يتعلم الرجل الإيمان بالله تعالى والشرائع والسنن والحدود واختلاف الأئمة. The best and fiqh and knowledge and ilm is basically the man learn the iman billah and shara'i, the sharia, والسنن, sunnah, والحدود, what is like the limits of what we call الحدود in the sharia يعني. واختلاف الأئمة, the أئمة, different opinions and so on. وقال في كتاب العالم وأصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما لم يدخلوا فيه لأن مثلهم كقوم ليس يحضرهم من يقاتلهم. Now, this is a very, very important note. And we hear that all the time about talking about like the al-aqidah. Okay? Because Iman Billah is aqidah. So basically the Sheikh is saying or pointing out Imam Abu Hanifah opinion about ilm al-aqidah and why you need to get that into your toolbox and your arsenal of knowledge. Because people say, oh, why do you teach aqidah? There's basically, the Sahaba didn't learn aqidah. That's nonsense. But anyway, so the Imam Abu Hanifah is telling you why. أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما لم يدخلوا فيه, didn't like delve much into علم العقيدة, didn't like talk much about it and so on. لأن مثلهم كقوم ليس يحضرهم من يقاتلهم. Like they didn't put arguments, not just didn't talk about it, I mean didn't debate others about it, didn't talk about it, didn't learn how to rebut the arguments and engage in debate and arguments and so on. They didn't do that because they didn't have to, basically. There was nobody at their time fighting them intellectually on those things. In that case, فلا يتكلفون السلاح. Why would they try and be armed with something that there is no reason for it? ونحن, he's talking about their time, the Imam Abu Hanifah time. Remember, Imam Abu Hanifah died 150 Hijri. So ونحن قد ابتلينا and was born 80. 80 or 70 was different opinions, but like probably around 80 Hijri. So at that time started to have, for sure, the Khawarij was already there. The Khawarij was at the time of Ali ibn Abi Talib. They started at the time of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, karam Allah wajhu alayhi salam. Ali ibn Abi Talib, we say alayhi salam because he's Ahl al-Bayt. Muhammad. So at that time Khawarij was there, Mu'tazila started or was there. All the other groups and sects that deviated from a Sunnah and so on were there. So Qadriya, as we said, Qadriya wal Jabriya and all those other sects. So they had to rebut them. They had to engage with them intellectually and rebut their arguments and bring other arguments forward and so on. So we do that because we had that in our time. ابتلينا بمن يطعن علينا ويستحل الدماء منا. So we are like we put in a situation where there are others who basically challenge our religion and challenge our proper aqidah, ويستحل الدماء منا, and basically killing us and so on, like al-Khawarij, because Khawarij are killing Muslims by basically justifying to themselves that they are not Muslims. Right? Khawarij basically saying everybody else who is not with them is basically kafir, is mushrik, is murtad, apostates. They have to be killed. Okay? I'm not sure if I told you this story before or not. Maybe we end with this story. But anyway, let's just complete this part. فلا يسعنا ألا نعلم من المخطئ منا والمصيب. So we have to know. We have obligation to know who is right and who's wrong. وأن and ولا يسعنا as well أن لا ندب عن أنفسنا وحرمنا. We have to defend ourselves and our aqidah and our what we believe in, and the hurma, the haram. Or it could be also haramuna. It's like our like our dima and our women and our kids and so on. Protect us also them. Protect them through what? Through teaching people that their aqidah, the Khawarij aqidah, is wrong. It is basically based on wrong. Like when Ibn Abbas went to some of those Khawarij at Ali ibn Abi Talib time and debated them, and I think there were like 4,000, and he returned with 2,000 repented after he debated and basically showing them their misinterpretation of the Quran and what they base their aqidah on. فقد ابتلينا بمن يقاتلنا فلا بد لنا من السلاح. So we are in a situation where others are fighting us, so therefore we have to have to be like armed. من أن الرجل إذا كف لسانه عن الكلام فيما اختلف فيه الناس وقد سمع. I think we like it's I want to say the story before I forget it, and then maybe we'll stop here and continue next time. But you can see that the Imam Abu Hanifah is justifying getting into debate and getting into arguments in aqidah issues and aqidah matters, and that didn't happen during the Sahaba time, because Sahaba didn't have that circumstance. They didn't need to, but now we have to. And without doing that, then we are basically like exposing ourselves and our kids and everybody, or all the other Muslims in a exposing them and putting them in a dilemma. Nobody's going to know what is right then if we didn't defend the right path, if we didn't clarify it, then how people can see it. It's like there is a way, there is a paved way or a road or whatever, and it got full of dust, full of sand. It's not clear anymore. People don't know which way to go. Then you have to dust it. You have to clear the sand and get basically to the road again, so people can see that road where it is and where it leads to, and take that road. Right? Now, before I forget the story, it's a story about actually the Imam al-Mu'tazila, Wasil ibn Ata, who started al-Mu'tazila. He and other scholars. But anyway, he was with a group traveling in the desert, right? And from a city to another city. And as they were traveling, Al-Khawarij basically, the way they operate is basically they camp, and they have their own camps and their areas that they control. And then they will do like, in their mind, ghazwa. In their mind, like ghazwa, like ghazawat al-Nabi, in their mind. They go attack like caravans and people traveling from city to city and kill them, because they were murtaddin, as I said, in their mind. So Wasil ibn Ata was a group of those, and then some Khawarij came and attacked them. So Wasil said, as they were approaching, do not say anything. Let me speak. Don't talk. Let like the people who, like the group he was with, never speak. Don't say anything. Let me do all the talking. So they waited, or they saw that Khawarij army approaching them, and then they started shouting at them, what are you here, what are you, who are you, and so on. So Wasil ibn Ata said, he's saying about themselves, we are mushrikeen, we are non-Muslims, mushrikeen, and we came to listen to Al-Quran, hear Al-Quran, so that we may make a decision about Islam. So the leader of this group like took them to their camp, the other leader, but the bigger leader of that camp, and basically told them, okay, what can I do with this? They are saying so and so. So that leader said, okay, here is the Quran, and he told them, he basically told them or recited Quran to them, to the Wasil ibn Ata and his group. And then واصل عم said okay, but وإن أحد من المشركين استأجرك فأجره حتى يسمع كلام الله ثم أبلغه مأمنة. So now, like, you need to get us back to where we have safety so that we can consider what you told us and make a decision, not under duress. So that leader then sent a convoy with them, with the Wasil ibn Atan and his group, protecting them all the way to the city that they were heading to, and left them there. And this shows like two things. It shows the twisted and ill mind of those Khawarij, which we still see until today. They are basically just the same. And also it shows the cleverness of Wasil ibn Ata and how smart he is. This story was actually in Ibn al-Jawzi book, Al-Adhkiya, the smart people. So basically Ibn al-Jawzi has a book about Al-Azkiya, and like he basically put this story as an example of zaka and smartness and cleverness. Because in the Quran, وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ اسْتَجَارَكَ فَأَجِرْهُ. If somebody from mushrik, from non-Muslim, sought your help, or sought your protection, فَأَجِرْهُ, protect them. حتى يسمع كلام الله, until they listen and hear the Quran, كلام الله. Then escort them to safety. ثم أبلغهم مأمنة. ذلك بأنهم قوم لا يعلمون, because they people that who don't know. So if you do that with non-Muslims, shouldn't you be do that with Muslims, like from like in Bab Awla, as we say, like it's even it should be, but here it is. Here is a deviation in their heart, and that's why they are Klab Ahl al-Nar. They're dogs of hellfire, those Khawarij. So anyway, I think we end here. Inshallah, we continue from next. Maybe we'll continue a little bit on Tuesday. We'll see. But in Tuesday, I said we will start with the in the extremists short course. We gave like an overview, a long overview, and then every Tuesday we will have. We basically listed 17 issues that extremists disagree with Ahl Sunnah about. Now we're gonna, like, we have just outlined them briefly. In every lesson after that, inshallah, we were gonna take one of those, one by one, and elaborate about it, like tawassul, all those kind of stuff. Why what they are saying, what are the proof that evidence it's permissible, and everything. All of those, like every single one of those points that we outlined or listed, we're gonna be talking a little bit more detail about it. It may take like maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes for each point, and then we could continue after we finish that. We could continue al-Fiqh al-Absat, inshallah. Sorry, discourse of Usul al Munifah of Imam Abi Hanifah. All right, any questions? I think I answered that last time, brother. Maybe you didn't attend. I said the beard is qabda. The beard in Imam Abi Hanifah madhab, the beard is qabda. Qabda means you put your fist, basically. So you put your fist around your chin from underneath your lower lips. Okay? And basically anything else you remove around, around anything below that you didn't include in your, like, go out of your qabda, your fist. This should be cut. So basically that's the length. There's sunnah length. Now there is no minimum. There is nothing called minimum length of beard. That is the sunnah length, right? Provided that your nature allows it. If somebody that doesn't have such a long beard or a thick beard, what can they do? Go and implant beard? It doesn't make any sense, right? So if your beard already, like a big beard, you have a lot of hair and thick and nice, right? So that's what you do. If it doesn't go that far, then it goes to that limit. Okay, it doesn't go beyond that limit. That's the point. Now, the other thing you need to understand is Imam al-Shafi'i, in their views, the Shafi'iyya, the beard is not mandatory, it's not wajib. So they can take it out. So when you see in Egypt specifically, because there are a lot of Egyptians who are Shafi'i, because Imam Shafi'i was in Egypt for like most of his career, or like the main madhab he established was in Egypt basically, and he died in Egypt and so on. So he has a lot of students there, and like there are a lot of Shafi'i in Egypt, and you might find them have a very short beard or not at all. So maybe his beard can go long, but he will shorten it, or they may even take the beard completely, like all right. Now, don't call them fasiq. Don't say, oh, these are fasiq. They don't have beard or they have a short beard. You just say they are Shafi'i, because Imam Shafi'i in his madhab is not mandatory. So here you go. Anyway, I'm Hanafi, but I don't have a long beard. Well, I don't know what should I change to Shafi'i. You tell me. Any other questions? And maybe I think also we talked about that last lesson. I'm not sure if usually I don't include questions in the recording, so maybe it's not in the recording. But we also said that when the Prophet, peace be upon him, like received the revelation and like started he preaching the Islam and instructing Muslims what they do and what they should look like and so on. Everybody had a beard, like all men had beard. That was just, men equal having a beard, and then they would even prolong it a lot, like extensively. Even like Jews will have like a very, very long beard. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, wanted Muslims at his time to be distinguishable than non-Muslims and Jews. So he asked them to cut their beard, have the beard, yeah, but not that long. Okay, so like i'fa, we called about i'fa and waffir and so on, all those words that the Prophet, peace be upon him, instructed his companions to do. The unlearned so-called shuyukh here, like nowadays, Wahhabis and whatever, they apply the slang meaning of those words, not the proper Arabic meaning at the time of the Prophet. Because waffir wa i'fa and all that meaning cut doesn't mean let it go like a spaghetti, like what they are doing now. Okay, so trim it, look nice, look good, and have it under control, and have it like no more than a qabda, than a fist under your chin. This is basically what the Prophet instructed them. And asdilu means, because Majus at the time were basically folding their beard, like those like what's called, they roll the beard up, like rolling it. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, don't roll it like the Majus, asdilha, like let it straight. Again, those unlearned who didn't learn properly understood the hadith as just leave it, don't cut it, leave it. But if you do that, you will be like the Jews and the other non-Muslims who the Prophet wanted to not look exactly the same. So it defeats the purpose. So anyway, that's the difference between learning from Sheikh and learning with Isnad, and between just reading some books and applying your lack of knowledge and wrong understanding of the words, and basically taking hukm out of it. So like waffir doesn't mean make it long. Waffir means take out of it. Means like save. Right? When you say waffir, saving, make saving. When you waffir, when you discount, basically means having a discount. It's cutting out of it. I'fa is basically meaning don't let it go long. But again, they just don't understand the Arabic language that has been used at the time of the Prophet. They apply their lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, and the slang meaning of the word sometimes, like how they understand it and get hukm out of it. Anyway, did I answer your question, brother? Any more questions? All right. See you, inshallah, on Tuesday. Assalamu alaikum.